All right, so first and foremost, I just want to start by saying thank you all for joining us this evening for this great panel event hosted by Psi Sigma Phi Multicultural Fraternity Incorporated. We are the Resilient Upsilon chapter here at VCU, and we have some members of the Zeta Alpha chapter of Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, members of Latinx Student Association, and Muévelo. Just to tell a little bit more about myself, I am Alejandro Lucero, and I am the president of the Resilient Upsilon chapter for the academic year of 2020-2021. I'm a senior student of political science here at VCU, and I'm a proud Salvadoreño. To tell you a little bit about us, we are a multicultural fraternity founded in 1990 in Montclair State University and New Jersey City University. The Resilient Upsilon chapter is the first chapter in the Commonwealth of Virginia and the latest addition to our growing organization. Now, as a multicultural fraternity, we believe that multiculturalism is not limited to the physical composition of an organization. We believe that multiculturalism is a philosophy that embraces any and all aspects of cultural identity with unconditional love and respect. Cultural identity includes, but it is not limited to, location, gender, race, nationality, history, sexual orientation, or religious beliefs. And I am grateful to have this opportunity to have some amazing people tonight, and I really look forward to having a great conversation with you all. So to start us off, joining us this evening on the panel is Judith Flores. She is the president of the Zeta Alpha chapter of Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, LTA, for the 2020-2021 academic year. She became a sister of Lambda Theta Alpha in the fall of 2019, and she was the number 1 of 2 in her line. She was previously the recruitment and retention advisor for spring 2020. She is a senior and first generation student. Her dad immigrated from El Salvador and her mother from Honduras. Her majors are criminal justice and political science. She is graduating in the fall of 2021 and hopes to attend law school shortly after. Her area of interest is immigration, and she aspires to become an immigration attorney. Also from LTA, we have Madeline Escobar Velasquez. She became a member of Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated in the fall of 2019. She is number 2 of 2 in her line. She currently holds the positions of chapter recruitment and retention advisor, along with chapter vice president. She is a first-generation student and is half Honduran and half Salvadoran. Her parents came here so she could do what she is currently working on. She's a health science major and aspires to become a physician's assistant after her undergrad years at VCU and attain her master's degree in science. The next panelist joining us this evening is Kiyoshi Shiraishi Murga. He's the vice president of the Latinx Student Association, LSA for short. He was born in Peru, but has lived in the United States for most of his life. He's a junior who is an HPEX major, minoring in Spanish. He joined LSA during his freshman year and loved the community that the organization provided. And he felt as though the best way to be involved in the Latinx community at VCU is by applying for a leadership position. We have Enrique Rangel Rodriguez. He's a senior student studying history. He is from Martinsville, Virginia. He has been a part of the Latinx Student Association since 2017, and this year he has the honor to serve as co-president. His favorite history is Latin American history, and he is proud to be Mexican. And last but not least, we have Brenda Mesa joining us this evening. She is the vice president of Muévelo. She is Mexican American and is the first person from her family to attend college. She is currently a biology major with a minor in Spanish and chemistry. She says, I am very excited to be here and I hope that you will enjoy your time at VCU. We have a few questions prepared for our panelists. They will each have a chance to answer it before we move on to the next. If you in the audience have any questions you would like to ask our panelists, feel free to write them in the chat and we will do our best to address them in the allotted time. So let's jump right in. Question number 1, please share with us a little bit about your organization. And I'll go ahead and just start off with Judith.
Hi everyone, I'm the president of the Zeta Alpha chapter for Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated. For Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, we were established in 1975, Keene University in Union, New Jersey. Our principles are unity, love, and respect. Our motto is Latin by tradition, not by definition. so we're not Latin exclusive. And our symbols are las perlas, la concha, la palma, and la luna.
Thank you, Judith. And Madeline, would you like to share as well?
Sure, but as Judith said, we are not just exclusive to Latinos and Latinx. We're open to anyone, and we also don't discriminate against, like, whatever whoever you are. We are open to everyone. We accept everyone, any color. We are always open to that. I will say, I really appreciate our organization. It helps you build a lot of responsibility, and you learn a lot professionally. I for sure can say that it has helped me so much that I'm looking forward to moving on into my career. And I think it has prepared me a lot for that. So I'm pretty excited. And I think it's a great opportunity for so many people who are looking for a home. And I've definitely found a home.
Thank you. Kiyoshi, would you like to tell us a little bit about LSA?
My connection's kind of bad sometimes, so if I cut off, I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, LSA is Latinx Student Association. We're here at VCU. A little bit about us is just, we want to provide that sense of community, that Latinx experience to all our students, kind of like as a way of being away, a home away from home. I feel like it's a recurring theme, but we're not Latin exclusive. Anybody can join. Anybody who enjoys the culture, anybody who is just interested in the Latinx heritage, they're more than welcome to join. Yeah, it's, we try and help serve our community in RVA as much as possible. We're mainly a social org, but we do help. We try and branch out in other ways that will help our members and the RVA community.
Thank you. And Enrique, would you like to share some as well?
Yeah, Kiyoshi did a pretty good job summarizing. But some of the things that we do is we do a little bit of everything. We're the biggest Latinx organization here on campus with over 100 members. So we also have several events that cater to every single interest that could be out there. We do a little bit of everything, and our main purpose is really to show that not just a family, but a familia environment that we try to provide for all students, regardless of their background or anything. And whatever your interest may be, whether it be socially or academically or professionally, we have a little bit of everything for everybody of different interests.
Thank you. And Brenda, would you like to share with us a little bit about Muévelo?
Yes, so Muévelo is a Latinx dance organization that focuses on the bachata, salsa, and reggaeton dance styles. We promote dancing throughout our local community by hosting workshops and events and participating in social dancing. We also have performances and we attend competitions where we are able to showcase our skills and our culture. And as many others have already said, we are not Latinx exclusive, we are open to anyone who is interested in joining.
Thank you so much. And this kind of leads us to our next question. So Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated between September 15th through October 15th because of the historical independence of 5 Hispanic countries. Now, how do you celebrate your heritage, and how did you celebrate this year's Hispanic Heritage Month? And I guess, Brenda, would you like to start?
Okay, so I celebrate my heritage through the food. So I try to learn how to make the Mexican food that my mom makes so that I'll be able to pass on my Mexican heritage to my children. And then we also celebrate Dia de los Muertos, which is another important aspect of our heritage. And I celebrated this year's Hispanic Heritage Month by attending some of LSA's events. And so I thought those were pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Enrique, would you like to go next?
Yes, thank you. I celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month through learning about my own culture and every other Latin American culture there is. There's so many countries with so much beautiful history. And as a history major, I love learning about the different history and stories that have occurred throughout history. One of the most beautiful events that I was able to attend was about Afro Latinas in Argentina. It was great to learn about and that was hosted the history department. So that was one way, is just learning and being able to also spread the history to the LSA members by having events. But I'll let Kiyoshi talk about that.
Thank you. And Kiyoshi, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So personally, for me, since I'm Peruvian, the gastronomy in there in Peru is always kind of like a big thing about it. So I feel like the best way to like stay in touch with my roots there is like making the food. I'm even like exposing my other roommates to like the kind of culture that I've been like raised around. Eating at a table, being that kind of stuff. But like Enrique was saying, or LSA events is like how I've been very engaged with our with the Latinx community here at VCU. So a couple of things that we had yesterday, we had like a little cooking night where everybody just cooked, made food from there. Like I showed off how to make food for my country, stuff like that. Yeah, we just been doing a lot of events where it focused around like certain uh, like showing off your pride pretty much. And I feel like that's a great way to like really celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, thank you. And I also saw that you made some ceviche and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Yeah. Madeline, would you like to go next?
Sure, yeah. So how do I celebrate my heritage? I celebrate in a lot of ways. For me, a lot of the time back at home in Northern Virginia, my aunt from Honduras, she cooks every weekend. Every weekend it's something different. So every time that I go, she's always like, oh, let's make this, let's make that. So we've made like tres leches before. She makes baleadas. It's like endless. I can't even begin to put them in order. But I will say it was a little different this year. Because of the pandemic, I don't really go home as much because of the risk I would put my parents in. But something that our sorority is doing, Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, is that tomorrow we're hosting an event called What They Don't Tell You. And it's going to tell the truth about Christopher Columbus's legacy of genocide, slave trade, and fraud. So if you guys are interested, we are hosting that tomorrow at 7 p.m. So you can go ahead and look at that on our Instagram. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. But another way I also like celebrate my heritage is my family's very heavy on like dancing. We love to dance like traditional music, salsa, cumbia, bachata, merengue, punta, like all of that. So I do all of that, yeah.
Thank you. Judith?
Yeah, so as a Latinx person, you can probably say like we can relate to all of these answers that were given. Similarly to Enrique, I celebrate my heritage by learning about my own like culture and everything, but also every other country's culture, because I mean, a lot of the stuff is similar, but there's also a lot of stuff that are different, and sometimes we may not understand and we have to respect, So I really take the time to learn and ask my friends, like, what does this mean? What is this? And another big way is through food. Sometimes I'll look up recipes, not necessarily cook them, but I'm always interested to learn, sometimes the history, tradition behind foods and stuff. And I think the biggest way that I'm in touch with my culture is through listening to a lot of music, like Latinx music. And this year, celebrating Latinx Heritage Month, there's nothing, to be honest, there's nothing particularly I usually do, like nothing specific. Usually just attend any events that my community may have. And then I know back home in El Salvador and Honduras, they usually have parades for Independence Day, but there's nothing specifically I do here.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. And So this panel is clearly a reflection of not only the diversity of our backgrounds, but also the organizations that we have here at VCU that serve various types of interests, from Greek life to the strong Hispanic Latinx community, even to the beautiful arts of Latin dance. So please share with us, like, what does a typical day look like for you? And what are some of your responsibilities in your current role? And I'll go ahead and pass the mic over to Kiyoshi, if you'd like to get us started.
Sorry about that. Can you repeat that? My connection kind of cut off.
So would you like to share with us about, like, what does a typical day look like for you, and sort of what are some of your responsibilities in your current role?
Okay, so as vice president, my main thing is kind of just being that support for pretty much anybody on our exec board that needs anything. Lately I've been helping out a lot on PR. Since everything is online, we've had to like move to making our social media presence as big as it can be. That way we reach out as many members, as many people as we can. So I've been helping them out a lot. Another thing, is just being there in case presidents may need anything, need me to cover for any responsibilities that they may need. Another thing is just making sure that everybody on the exec board is doing well. Always be checking up on them, making sure that everything's going on okay, making sure that they're okay with their responsibilities and they're not feeling overwhelmed with anything. That's my main responsibility in my role as vice president.
Thank you. And Enrique, would you like to share some of your typical day and responsibilities?
Yes. My day pretty much starts off with a nice little breakfast. You can't start off the day with a nice breakfast, so always be nutrited. But but with responsibilities, I kind of do an internship at the Sacred Heart Center, the biggest Latinx center here in Richmond, and it's I don't get to work with people this semester just because of COVID and everything, but I help create the history behind 30 years of serving the community. So it's a very, very beautiful work that not only ties the Sacred Heart with its roots, but also LSA with the community. And after that, I like to always just check up on assignments, and other than that, then I actually start working on LSA as an org. And there's a lot of work that goes into really organizing such a huge organization. I have to check up with my e-board members, gotta check in with Kiyoshi. We have sets of students we got them paired up into different groups, and those are called familias. So it's one of our e-board members with a couple of just regular members, and it got to check in with them, create events to keep our members engaged in just social matters. It could either be between just going out to eat or also just hanging out and studying together. So there's a lot that goes into that, sending out emails and just keeping in touch with what's going on behind the scenes, and also keeping the members involved. So there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of hours, but it's just great to also take time for yourself and recharge your batteries.
True. Thank you for sharing. Brenda, would you like to share with us what a typical day looks like for you and some of your responsibilities in your current role?
So a typical day is usually me working, studying, and then attending class, answering emails, and then attending events or meetings. And so as vice president, during our meetings, I have to take notes. I have to make sure everyone is on the same page. I also have to help with planning events and then confirming if we're going to collaborate with other organizations. And then I also have to make sure that if someone can't attend an event, I have time so that I can find someone who can attend or attend myself.
Awesome. Thank you. And Madeline, would you like to share?
Yes. So a typical day for me is waking up, either going to work, making breakfast, feed my cat, get things done like homework, make sure I take care of myself also, because that's super important during these times, especially during a pandemic where, you can't really go anywhere. Try to stay inside and be safe. So just trying to keep busy, like doing activities like, cleaning my room, making my bed, playing with my cat, painting, just things to keep yourself occupied mentally. And that way you're not, stressed, or, you have a way of relieving any feelings that you're holding. A journal is helpful to a lot of people. I'm trying to get into that, so that might help me a lot too. As a recruitment and retention advisor and vice president for Lambda, Theta, Alpha, and Sorority Incorporated, for R&R, I do a lot of, I make the flyers for the events. I try to see if we can collab with other chapters of our sorority so we can save on both ends with events and try to, divide the work. I also keep track of people who are interested and always try to engage with them, make sure that, check on them, see how they're doing, along with, obviously any other chapter sisters or other Greeks, because we all know it isn't easy. As vice president, I try to do a lot in being there for my president and checking in on her, seeing if she needs anything, because essentially as vice president for right now in this semester, it's more of helping her out and trying to be there for her. Other things I do would just be like check-ins, monthly check-ins. I'm always doing meetings. We always have events. So I'm always doing something every week. And I really love it because I'm learning a lot. And it's preparing me for long days in the future. So I'm very grateful for my positions right now.
Thank you. And last but not least, Judith, would you like to share what a typical day looks like for you and some of your responsibilities as chapter president?
So I can relate to a lot of this stuff as Madeline, since we are in the same organization. As a Lambda lady and chapter president, our days typically vary. We do a lot of stuff for our community and stuff, but LTA really values taking care of yourself and family and putting school first and everything. So we do a lot of stuff, but we also take care of ourselves first. A lot of the stuff that I do on a day-to-day basis, I'm a full-time student. I work part-time, so I kind of have to balance that out as well with chapter stuff that we have to do. We do weekly chapter meetings. We do meetings for our area, sometimes for nationals, and sometimes random things that come up. And like Madeline says, it's really preparing me for the future for having long days, because it is a commitment, but it's really rewarding.
Great, thank you. And for the next question, we have, how have your experiences as a Latinx student shaped you and your role within the organization you represent? And I'll go ahead and open the floor to Brenda. Would you like to answer first?
Yes, so as a Latinx student, I've had to be very independent and responsible from a young age due to the fact that my parents could not help me with my work because of the language barrier. So while it was a struggle, I've been able to learn how to manage my time and responsibilities without having someone bearing over me. And because of this, I have been able to handle my role as a vice president pretty nicely, as I'm able to keep everyone and everything organized. I'm able to manage my time wisely to ensure that I can attend meetings and events.
Great, thank you. Kiyoshi, would you like to answer next?
Yeah, so kind of I'm on the same boat as Brenda. She kind of hit the nail on the head for me as well. That kind of, the fact that the language barrier is a big thing for me. I'm also a first gen student, so they didn't realize the workload that my parents didn't realize the workload that college came that came with college. They didn't realize the responsibilities that orgs require you to have. Thankfully, I feel like I've grown into my position, and this position has helped me become a more sociable person, someone more outspoken, someone who like more focused on a task at hand. So, and that's always a really good thing. I've always felt like I've been that way, but feel like being in a position of leadership has helped me out refine those traits, definitely.
Great, thank you. Judith, would you like to share about how your experiences as a Latinx student have shaped you and your role within the organization you represent?
So, being Latinx in my organization, how it's shaped me is it makes me want to bring, like, when we plan events, bring awareness to social issues that our community may face, or just educate people about our culture and that kind of stuff.
Thank you. And Enrique, would you like to share?
Yes. Actually, I think that something that a lot of people don't bring up is that I think it also brings up a lot of negative feelings sometimes. As a Latinx student, we see like we're not very represented on campus, and at first it was very, very hard to kind of be able to relate to other students or even relate to advisors or anyone else until my sophomore year. I've met a professor that was also Latinx, and he really showed me that I could really fit into the organization, into my degree. And I think that's a powerful thing that to show that you can relate to people that carry a similar identity to you. And that's very important because that's what we bring to LSA, is that we have a lot of similar backgrounds, a lot of similar experiences. And as president, that's something I wanted to really emphasize on, that we have all these similar experiences, music taste, shows that we like, and culture, traditions, and we really bond with people that have similar interests to us. So that's how we really bring that feeling of a family, a familia. And that's, I think it's the most important part, is just being similar interest and familia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Madeline.
So, how have my experiences shaped my role? Shaped you and my role. Okay. So, I think for me, a lot of what I grew up in, I kind of grew up thinking that like, oh, well, I was always a very shy person. And I remember hearing about my organization, and I felt as though like, oh, I could never do that. I'm not vocal. I'm not a good speaker. I'm still working on it, but I think it really has brought me out of my shell, like a lot. I've learned so much. I've learned a lot about myself. And I think that it has allowed me as a Latinx to represent more people who are afraid to do these things. And, it kind of brings a lot of light to those students who think that you can't really do much as a Latinx, and, we're not represented very well in like big jobs and careers that so many people dream about, and they feel as though they can't reach it. So I think that with my organization, I think with my role, I want to, let other people know that like, I was where you were, and look where I am now. And my goals, I used to be really afraid, like, oh, I can't do that. But I think, if you push yourself hard enough and you like really think about it, and I also, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but as a Latinx, I feel as though like I want to represent, and I want to bring to the table and show people like this is what we can do, because oftentimes we are like looked down upon. Oh, because we're not given things easily, so we have to work even harder for it. So I think that's because of my own experiences, that's why I feel this way, and I just want to show people like look what we can do.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. This was a pretty good question, and y'all had some very unique perspectives, and it's so empowering to hear that. My next question is because, hey, we might be sharing this with some younger people that are aspiring to be in your position. And so I wanted to ask you all, what is your piece of advice for someone who is interested in serving in leadership positions? And I'll go ahead and start off with Kiyoshi.
I feel like that's kind of hard. Like, there's so much that you can do just to be like in to be like in. I feel like the main thing is just being involved, not just with like your own org, but with like other orgs around. Get your make sure that like people know you. Try and like reach out to other people. You know, be as friendly as possible. Really, just show up to events and like just be sociable to other people. That's kind of the big thing that was very hard for me because I was very introverted at first. I was very shy, especially when I came into my first year of college. I thought it was very intimidating, but just realized that, you know, everybody around you, everybody in the community, every student, they don't have it out for you. You know, everybody wants to help each other. We're all in the same boat, and that, you know, everybody's here to help you out. Yeah, and just, you know, be out there. Just show up to stuff and make friends with other people. Anybody that you can be. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Brenda, would you like to go next?
Yes, so my piece of advice is to apply because it's something that you're passionate about doing and not because it's impressive or because it'll look good on a resume or something like that. Because once you take up a leadership position, you have to remember that there are people who are going to look up to you. So you have to be ready to take that responsibility. And if you're only doing it because it's something impressive, then you won't be able to do your job as effectively as someone who's doing it because they're passionate about it.
Word. Thank you. Madeline, would you like to go next?
Do you mind repeating the question for me one more time, just so I can answer it properly?
Oh, absolutely. So, what is your piece of advice for someone who is interested in serving in a leadership position?
Okay, so I would say for a leadership position, if you know, like as Brenda said, if you want to do it, then, you know, do it. Apply. I was really scared. I think I've been wanting to join my organization since I was little because I had a family member who was in this organization as well. But once I got here freshman year, I've been to multiple what are they called? When you go look at the Sovo Fair. I went to Sovo Fair almost every year, and I kept being really afraid, but I finally did it, and I'm so glad I did it. So that's what I would say is just do it. But once you, and then a piece of advice for once you become, you know, that role or a leader, I would say you need a lot of understanding. And I say that because you don't know what someone else is going through, and oftentimes you will be like questioning certain things, and as a leader you have to look at the bigger picture and realize, like, you know, not everything is gonna go as planned. You have to work around things. You always have to do quick thinking. So it's a lot of learning during the whole leadership thing. It's a lot of learning, but as you go, you become better every day, and that's if you put the effort in. So that would be my other piece of advice.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Judith, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so my piece of advice would be to really get involved. I would say to push yourself to get out there, but at the same time, I would say don't overwhelm yourself. I would say just do what you can do, and like mentioned before, do something you're really passionate about. Because at the end of the day, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So I would say, yeah, just do it. Get involved where you can, but don't overwhelm yourself.
Thank you. Enrique.
Thank you, Alejandro. I had three different points, but after hearing everyone, I think the biggest point would be if you want to be a leader, do it out of love. Do it out of love for the organization, for the love of the culture, for the love of whatever you're going to do. Don't do it for a resume booster. Don't do it to just do every single organization you can do. Um, Something that we really emphasized during our interviews for eBoard on LSA was to do it out of love for the culture, for the love of the organization. And that can be applied to just any position you apply for. Is do it because you want to do it, and not just because you want to look good for other people, you want to look good for us. Just do it because you want to improve the position you're going to go, whatever organization or job. Just do it to improve that position. If you go with a hiring recruiter, what's the first thing what's one of the questions they ask? It's how can you improve the company? And it goes the same with the organization, whatever position you want to go to. How can you improve the organization? And that's the biggest piece of advice, is to do it out of love.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're pretty much near to the end of all these questions. We have one more, but before that, I just want to say thank you so much, because even for me, myself, as chapter president here for PSP, like, there's so much that I've taken away from this conversation that we've been having with all you guys present here. And it is truly amazing to see the amount of work that you do, everything that you do for this community. And so I'm very thankful and happy that I get to have this moment with you. So once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, the very last question, I'm not going to call on anybody. I'm just going to let you answer, whoever is first. In one word, what does being Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx mean to you? And you're free to just jump in.
Power.
Okay.
Familia.
Sazón.
Amazing.
Unexpected. You know, I feel like, you can do like a lot of unexpected people are unexpected to do like a lot of different things. And yeah.
Very interesting. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. And I do want to go ahead and open up the floor for any questions from our audience. Is there anything that you would like to ask our panelists?
Oh, darn. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you
Oh,
doing?
thanks. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here. But sorry, I feel like I'm crashing this a little bit. My name's McKenna Brown. I'm on the faculty at VCU. I've been here for actually quite a while. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I wasn't the first, I was one of the first faculty advisors for LSA way back in the day. So, a cause and a culture and a people very dear to my heart. And when I saw the event announced, it just really caught my attention. I wanted to just come and support what y'all are doing, which is great. And it's just, when I think where we've come just at VCU in the past 20 years, it's so encouraging, and it just gives me a lot of faith and optimism to listen to you this evening, your voices, and just your enthusiasm, and your confidence and vision. I think it bodes really well for the future. So I would just wanted to say, keep up the great work. And if there's anything we can ever do, I'm in the School of World Studies, and just count on another ally and supporter if that's ever of help. So keep up the great work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And do we have any other comments or questions from the audience? All right. If that is all, we are still under time. And so I just want to go ahead and share the Instagram handles for the organizations presented here. For Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, be sure to check out LTA_Zeta Alpha, that's ZETAALPHA. And then for LSA, we have LSA_VCU. And for Muévelo, we have VCU Muévelo. So be sure to check out the Instagram handles. They are posting great events all the time. So be sure to check those out. And thank you all so much for joining us this evening. It was a very wonderful time, and I'm so happy that we got together today. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.